Now, I'm going to be politically incorrect. It's 3 weeks to Election Day. We keep hearing how important it is for everyone to vote, that voting is your civic duty. But I say, maybe some of you shouldn't vote.
If you don't vote, you're a moron.
Let's go voting.
Lately, there's been a big push to get young people to vote.
Go register to vote if you're 18 years old.
At some rock concerts, between songs, musicians say things like,
"Please participate this year by casting your vote."
Mark Brownstein, bassist for a band called the Disco Biscuits, and his friend Andy Bernstein co-founded Headcount, a group that registers young people.
If you know either your driver's license number or the last 4 digits of your social is what you're going to need to know.
We've registered over 100,000 people. It is so imperative that this generation's voice is heard, and they are being heard.
Yeah! But wait a sec. Are all these get-out-the-vote drives entirely a good thing? What about Puff Daddy's Vote or Die campaign?
Vote or die, baby.
Puff Daddy?
Your friend Kyle told me you don't understand the importance of voting.
South Park made fun of it.
Vote or die, mother, vote or die.
You can't run from a 38, go ahead and drive.
Let your opinion be heard. You gotta make a choice.
Vote or die.
South Park's creators were criticized for this, but I think they have a point.
Okay, I'll vote.
After all, some kids don't know much. At that concert, we asked some newly registered voters some basic questions. Some were knowledgeable.
There are 2 senators from each state, making a total of 100.
The Bill of Rights is the first 10 amendments to the Constitution.
But most were not.
There's 51 states in the U.S. 52?
How many senators are there?
Going with 16.
I have no idea. 64, I think, something like that.
50 per state. 5 per state. 7.
Oh no, I want to say 12. Am I so wrong?
And what is Roe v. Wade?
Roe versus Wade's segregation, maybe?
Was Roe versus Wade where we declared bankruptcy?
No, that was about a black person and a white person.
Most kids we asked didn't know.
Roe versus Wayne?
Isn't knowledge important to voting?
There's a lot of uninformed voters out there.
So maybe they shouldn't vote.
It's an argument that really, really smacks against everything we hold dear as Americans.
Democracy is not about taking the most educated portion of the society and having them decide.
But maybe that's their civic duty not to vote, because they don't know anything.
We don't believe it's their civic duty not to vote. We're out there telling them that it is their civic duty to vote.
Maybe it's not fair to pick on kids at a rock concert. Let's go to our nation's capital. Certainly people here will know more, won't they? I showed them some pictures. Everyone knew Obama and McCain. Maybe half the people knew who this was.
Tina Fey, just kidding. It's Governor Palin.
But Joe Biden?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Finally.
Joe Biden.
You're the first person to do that. That's pretty amazing around
The
here.
new Joe Biden?
Right.
You're totally pulling my leg.
She and a few others got all the answers right.
Who's that?
Ruth Bader Ginsburg?
But they were the exceptions. Few people recognized Supreme Court Justice Ginsburg.
Oh.
But this judge?
Oh, Judge Judy.
Maybe 75% of people can name the vice president. The public's knowledge of politics is shockingly low.
Economist Brian Kaplan argues in his book, The Myth of the Rational Voter, that people who know little about our government ought to stay home on Election Day.
We always hear it's our civic duty to vote.
This is very much like saying it's our civic duty to give surgery advice. Now, we'd like to think that political issues are much less complicated than brain surgery, but many of them are pretty hard. If someone doesn't know what he's talking about, it really is better if they say, look, I'm just going to leave this in wiser hands.
It's so elitist to say only some people should vote.
Is it elitist to say only some people should do brain surgery? Bottom line is, if you don't know what you're doing, you are not doing the country a favor by voting.
Voting is serious business.
If you care about being heard,
please vote. Instead of rock the vote, maybe they should say rock or vote.
I'm really starting to doubt myself a little bit. Maybe I shouldn't vote.
Good for her. Democracy works best when people educate themselves. So I'm relieved if people like her stay home on Election Day. But will she?
No, that was a lie. Of course I'm gonna vote.
Oh, well, there are 3 weeks to Election Day. Maybe she'll be up to speed by then.
And to help you get up to speed, next week on 2020, we'll bring you my politically incorrect guide to politics.